What if I told you the most dangerous enemy you'll ever face lives inside your own mind? It's not the critics, the obstacles, or the world trying to bring you down. No, the fiercest battle you'll ever fight is with yourself. Not your best self, but the weak, fearful, impulsive, undisciplined version that whispers excuses and clings to comfort. And that version wakes up with you every single day. This is more than just a struggle, it's a war. A war between who you are now and who you're truly meant to become. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't call it self-help. They called it self-mastery. It was the lifelong discipline of confronting your mind, your vices, and your illusions without mercy. Each day, you're met with a choice. The weaker self offers comfort, convenience, and excuses. The stronger self chooses resistance, growth, and purpose. One wants to keep you safe in stagnation. The other dares you to rise. So, who wins today? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Because if you don't confront and kill that weaker version of yourself, it will keep you bound, tied to your fears, your cravings, and your limitations. And nothing will ever change. The Stoic path isn't about being perfect. It's about becoming unshakable. It's about rejecting emotional chaos, mental laziness, and false comfort, and choosing discipline over distraction. This journey, it's not for those looking for shortcuts. It's for those who are tired of lying to themselves. For those ready to stop waiting. For those ready to build a mind of steel. A soul forged in hardship. And a character rooted in principle. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they all believed that strength is not given. It's earned through trial, through discomfort, and through a relentless refusal to back down. So if you're ready to stop making excuses, if you're ready to silence the voice of weakness inside you, then join me, because this is Chapter 1, The Death of Excuses. Excuses are the language of the weak. They sound like, "I'll start tomorrow. It's too hard. I don't feel like it." These aren't just words, they're poison. Every time you repeat them, you feed the side of you that wants to stay small. Excuses are a disease, a slow decay of discipline, ambition, and self-respect. They offer temporary comfort, but that comfort always turns into regret. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's what Stoicism demands. Not control over life's chaos, but control over your response to it. Not escape, but confrontation. So the next time you hear that whisper, the one telling you to wait, to rest, to hide, recognize it for what it is. It's not you. It's the weaker version of you, trying to survive. Kill it. Don't argue with it. Don't reason with it. Act before doubt has time to take root. And remember, every excuse is a step backward. Every time you obey weakness, you add one more chain to your own cage. If you want freedom, growth, and power, you must earn it. You must develop a ruthless intolerance for excuses. No compromise, no hesitation, no delay. Because only then can the true you, the stronger you rise. So now that we've exposed excuses for what they truly are, what's the antidote? One word: action. The moment your mind whispers rest, you must move. When the thought "I'll do it later" creeps in, that's your cue to act immediately. You must train yourself to respond to weakness with movement, to crush hesitation before it takes root. Every excuse is a spark, and if you don't smother it with decisive action, it becomes a wildfire of procrastination. This is where strength is forged, in those small, uncomfortable moments when you'd rather delay, but choose discipline instead. Feel like skipping the workout? Drop down 10 push-ups right now. Thinking of putting off that task? Start it before your brain finishes the excuse. Speed kills hesitation. That's the Stoic way. The Stoics were not just thinkers, they were warriors of the mind. They knew that discipline isn't about feeling ready. It's an order you give yourself, a command that is executed regardless of comfort. A true Stoic doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" He says, "It must be done," and does it. So how did you destroy the cycle of excuses? You create a system where action becomes your default. Train your body to move before your mind has a chance to argue. When hesitation appears, act faster. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect mood. There is no perfect moment. The moment is now. Let's start with something simple, something powerful. Your alarm clock. The first decision of your day sets the tone for the rest. If you hit snooze, you're not just delaying wake up, you're training yourself to hesitate, to flinch, to procrastinate. When the alarm rings, sit up immediately. No second guessing. No 5 more minutes. Stand. Move. Win the first battle. Because when you conquer the morning, you're far more likely to conquer the rest of the day. Want to take it further? Build a morning routine that ignites momentum. Make your bed with purpose. Step onto the floor with certainty. Do something difficult. Something that demands effort from the very start. That one hard thing in the morning, whether it's a cold shower, a set of push-ups, a page of Stoic writing. It's not just a habit. It's a ritual of power, a declaration that says, "I command myself." Cold showers? They train your nervous system to obey under pressure. Reading or writing philosophy? That disciplines your mind to seek clarity over emotion. Intense movement? It awakens your body to respond, not delay. This isn't just about fitness or productivity. It's about reshaping your identity, about showing yourself before the world even opens its eyes that you are the one in charge. So when the alarm rings tomorrow, who will show up? The self that hesitates or the self that moves without mercy? Choose action, choose discipline, and kill the weakness before it even speaks. Once you win that first moment, momentum takes over. The way you start sets the stage for everything that follows. The Stoics understood a powerful truth. Victory isn't found in grand, heroic acts, it's built in small, repeated choices. The moment you choose discomfort over ease, action over hesitation, you've already begun to win. Make that decision every single day, especially when it's the last thing you want to do. Feel exhausted? Do it anyway. Mind racing with excuses? Ignore them. Your weaker self will beg, plead, and rationalize. But you've made a commitment to do one hard thing each morning, not just for results, but to remind your mind who's in charge. You're not here to be ruled by whims or moods. You are here to command. The mind must be trained to obey. And how did you train it? Through repetition, through clarity, through rules. Write down your most common excuses. Bring them into the light. I'm too tired. I'll do it later. I deserve a break. And next to each excuse, write its counterattack. A precise action you'll take the moment it appears. Then establish non-negotiable rules. These are the sacred laws of your discipline, the habits you follow. No matter the circumstance, no matter how you feel. If you've decided to work out 5 days a week, it happens whether you're energized or exhausted. If you commit to reading philosophy daily, it gets done whether you're inspired or not. There's no room for debate. These rules are binding. They are your personal code. And yes, your mind will rebel. It will whisper, just this once. It's okay to skip. Don't listen. That's the weak self, desperate for a foothold. Shut it down. When a rule is set, it's followed. No exceptions. Ever. Each time you obey your own law, you reclaim power. Over time, this consistent practice reshapes your identity. You become the kind of person who does what he says, who follows through even when no one is watching. And that's the root of unshakable strength. From now on, treat every excuse like a flashing red light, an alert that your weak self is trying to sabotage you. And the response? Immediate, intentional action. Excuse, I'll do it later. Response, no, you're doing it now. Excuse, I'm too tired. Response, tired isn't an excuse. Move. Excuse, I don't have time. Response, cut the distractions. Make time. You kill weakness by refusing to delay. You silence the liar in your mind by proving him wrong with action. Start small if you must, but be consistent. Be fierce. Every excuse you destroy adds weight to your discipline, making it stronger, more automatic, more unstoppable. Eventually, you won't even hesitate. You'll just act. You'll become the one who moves while others wait. And that's how you start to master your life, not with motivation, but with discipline. So what comes next once you begin acting without hesitation? You build the most powerful weapon a human being can wield: discipline. A truly disciplined person doesn't sit around waiting for the stars to align. He doesn't check in with his emotions before deciding what to do. Whether he's energized or exhausted, focused or distracted, he moves forward, not because he feels like it, but because he's already decided that action is non-negotiable. He understands something most people never learn. Feelings are fleeting, but progress, that's built on consistency. When the world around him slows down and waits for a spark of motivation, he takes another step, another rep, another page, another moment of growth. And over time, those little victories stacked one by one create momentum that cannot be stopped. Meanwhile, the weak version of yourself will whisper, "Take it easy today, you've earned it." It'll nudge you toward comfort, disguised as self-care. But don't be fooled, this is the same tired voice that wants you stuck. It'll say, "You were productive yesterday, so what's the harm in resting today?" And that's when the strong version of you must speak louder. "I don't care how I feel. I do it anyway." Look at the top performers in any field, whether it's business, athletics, writing, or philosophy. They don't rely on fleeting inspiration. They follow a code, a personal standard of behavior that is non-negotiable. An elite athlete doesn't train only when he feels like it. A philosopher doesn't reflect only when it's convenient. A Stoic doesn't practice virtue just when it's easy. They all understand the same truth. Discipline isn't a mood. It's a way of life. Like a muscle, discipline must be exercised daily, deliberately, and without compromise. Skip your workout today, and you've made it easier to skip it again tomorrow. Give in to procrastination now, and you reinforce a habit that will sabotage you for years to come. The real enemy: inconsistency. And the only way to conquer it is to build habits so strong they override every excuse. You need rituals that turn your values into automatic behavior. There should be no inner debate. You don't wonder if you should train, study, improve, reflect. You just do it. Because that's who you are. A disciplined man doesn't need permission. He doesn't negotiate with laziness. He doesn't bargain with his emotions. He acts decisively, without hesitation, every single time. Think of a warrior, sharpening his sword not when the enemy is at the gate, but every morning without fail. He trains not because he's inspired, but because he understands this. Readiness is an illusion. When the battle comes, preparation will be the only thing that matters. You must train your mind the same way. Every time you act without waiting for motivation, you're reinforcing one essential truth. You are in control. You are no longer ruled by emotion. You've reclaimed your mind from its old master and turned it into a disciplined servant. This is where discipline is born, not in grand gestures, but in the small, private decision to take action when it's hardest. Repeat that decision enough, and it becomes your identity. You evolve into the kind of person who does what he says, no matter what. So stop waiting for motivation. That's the crutch of the undisciplined. The path of greatness begins with a simple command: act. Even when you don't feel like it. Once you stop waiting for motivation and start acting, something powerful begins to happen. You start generating your own momentum. The weak sit idle waiting for inspiration, waiting for perfect timing, waiting for life to hand them the right moment before they take the first step. But guess what? That moment never comes. The strong, they act. They move forward regardless of how they feel. And through action, they create their own motivation. They discover that timeless truth. Movement generates energy. Progress fuels ambition. Action is the source of strength. If you want to forge yourself into someone unstoppable, it begins with relentless discipline. A discipline so firm that no delay, no excuse, no fleeting feeling can break it. The world doesn't belong to those who wait, it belongs to those who move. Set a daily routine that is non-negotiable. This means building structure into your day that includes reading, physical training, and consistent progress toward your goals. Don't wait for life to force discipline on you, enforce it yourself. Look at your life right now. What are 3 areas where you know you've been weak, where you've lacked structure, drive, or follow through? Identify them, then attack them relentlessly. When your mind whispers, "I don't feel like it," take that as your signal to act immediately. That hesitation, it's the weak self rearing its head again. And every time you pause, debate, or delay, you hand it more control. Stop giving away your power. Flip the script. If your mind says, "Skip the workout, get up and move now." If it says, "You can read later, pick up the book this moment." If it says, "Not now," answer with, "Right now." Train yourself to see hesitation as the enemy. And then go even harder. Use resistance as a compass. If something feels uncomfortable, that's where your growth lives. Do it because it's hard. Do it especially when your weaker self begs you not to. The more often you respond this way, the more automatic it becomes. You're rewiring your brain. You're creating a new pattern where hesitation equals action, where delay equals intensity. Over time, this becomes your instinct, not something you think about, something you do. This is the very core of self-discipline, to act not when it's easy, but when your entire mind resists you. The weak version of you waits, negotiates, and rationalizes. The strong version of you hears the same resistance and moves anyway. The strong version doesn't argue, it executes. This is how warriors are made. One decision at a time. One moment of courage against comfort. One relentless action after another. Once you understand that self-discipline is forged through relentless action, You're ready for the next truth. Hardship is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally. Pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's a choice. The weak version of you let pain define them, let it crush their will, justify their stagnation, and excuse their failure to act. But the strong version of you sees pain for what it truly is, a sharpening stone, a tool to forge strength, a test to reveal character. When your muscles ache from discipline, it's not weakness, it's progress. When your mind strains under stress, it's not failure, it's wisdom being born. Every hardship is a mirror. It shows you exactly who you are. The question is, will you look into that mirror or will you run from it? The great Stoics didn't just tolerate suffering, they welcomed it. Why? Because they understood that life's chaos is inevitable. And if you wait for the world to be easy, you'll wait forever. Marcus Aurelius never prayed for an easier life. He trained for a stronger mind. Seneca intentionally practiced discomfort, sleeping on hard floors, eating simple food so that no sudden misfortune could ever break him. That's not madness. That's preparation. And it's the mindset you must adopt. Stop seeing hardship as a curse. See it as a required part of your evolution. Because true resilience isn't built when things are easy. It's built in fire. It's forged in the exact moments when everything in you wants to quit but you don't. The difference between the strong and the weak. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's the willingness to suffer well. The strong don't crumble when things get hard. They lean in. They let pain burn away the soft parts. They let discomfort strip away the weakness. Every struggle you conquer becomes another piece of armor, another layer of proof that you can withstand what life throws at you. Another step in your transformation. When life applies pressure, and it will, what happens? Do you break? Or do you sharpen? Do you collapse? Or do you rise? Life doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It tests you when you least expect it. And that's why you must train before the battle begins. The weak self will beg you to retreat. It will say, "You've done enough. Rest. No need to push further." But that's a lie. You must silence that voice with movement, with force, with immediate, decisive action. When the body screams to hard, you respond. Watch me. Seek resistance. Search for challenge. Welcome discomfort, because it is the only path to becoming more than what you are now. The man who clings to comfort will never know his full strength. But the man who walks straight into the fire discovers power he never imagined. Growth lives in that friction between who you are and who you're meant to become. Avoid that friction, and you stay the same. Embrace it, and you evolve. Greatness isn't found in ease. It's carved out of pain, forged in difficulty, proven in battle. So stand tall in adversity. Let hardship be your teacher. Let pain refine you, and walk through the fire not as a victim, but as the warrior you're becoming. After walking through the fire and letting adversity forge your strength, there's another battle waiting, the battle within. Now begins the war for emotional mastery. Weak men are ruled by their emotions. They let anger explode unchecked. Let fear paralyze their decisions. Let anxiety wrap chains around their actions. They are like ships caught in a storm, tossed, pulled, shattered because they have no anchor. Their moods decide their fate. Their feelings make the choices for them. Have you ever watched someone unravel over something small? That's not strength. That's surrender. These men react impulsively, regret deeply, and never learn. They give up their power to every passing wave of emotion, becoming prisoners of fleeting impulses. The result? A life controlled by chaos, a mind clouded by noise, and a soul that can never settle. But the strong man, he doesn't ignore emotions, he governs them. He doesn't bury anger or deny fear. He examines them, he dissects them, he places them under the rule of reason and discipline. He knows emotions are natural, yes, but natural doesn't mean in control. Left unchecked, anger leads to destruction. Fear cages the mind. Anxiety poisons clarity. And sadness, when indulged without purpose, drowns potential in self-pity. The strong self doesn't allow these feelings to drive the car. He lets them ride, but he holds the wheel. He pauses. He reflects. He chooses with intention, not reaction. Imagine how powerful you'd be if you stopped reacting and started responding. If every feeling became a signal, not a command. Strength isn't found in emotional detachment. It's found in emotional mastery. It's the ability to feel everything but still act with wisdom. To look anger in the eye and ask, is this useful? To hear fear whisper and ask, is this real? To feel anxiety rising and say, I see you but I move forward anyway. The strong man treats emotions the way a general studies the battlefield. He maps the terrain of his mind. He understands the ambush points of frustration, the traps laid by insecurity, the deceptive fog of doubt. When anger rises, he examines it. Is this righteous? Will this serve my purpose or sabotage it? If not, he doesn't act on it. He channels that fire into clarity, not chaos. When fear creeps in, he confronts it. What evidence supports this fear? What is it trying to protect me from? Most of the time, the fear dissolves under scrutiny, because most fears are shadows, big in shape, but empty at the core. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you feel less. It means you are no longer a slave to what you feel. And when you reach that point when your emotions inform you, but never control you, you become truly unshakable. This is what separates the impulsive from the wise, the weak from the powerful, the average man from the stoic. After mastering the storm within, the next step is building an identity so solid no wind can shake it. This is where self-discipline transforms into self-respect. Weak men shrink when confronted. They collapse under the weight of doubt. When anxiety whispers into their ears, they listen without questioning. They accept every fear as fact. They let emotion flood their mind, blurring their judgment, sabotaging their direction. As a result, their life becomes scattered, driven by emotion, never anchored by principle. But the strong man, he treats anxiety like a puzzle to solve, not a command to follow. He dissects it. He asks, is this fear real? Is it useful? If the answer is yes, he takes calm, deliberate action. If no, he discards it like dead weight. A weak man allows his mind to be hijacked by emotion. He becomes a passenger in his own life, pulled in every direction, never steering. But the strong man knows one thing with absolute certainty. Your mind is the only thing you truly own, and he refuses to let it be ruled by fleeting feelings. He trains himself relentlessly to notice his emotional triggers. He pauses. He breathes. He thinks. He responds with wisdom, not impulse. He is like a mountain, unshaken by storms, still, grounded, untouchable. Because here's the truth. If you don't master your emotions, they will master you. If you don't take charge of your thoughts, the world will. You're either leading your mind or you're its prisoner. So, when anger rises, take 3 deep breaths. When fear whispers lies, challenge them. When emotion builds, Use it, but don't obey it blindly. Train yourself to pause, to question, to decide with clarity, not chaos. Because self-mastery is not suppression, it's control. And when you can rule yourself, when you choose calm over rage, discipline over impulse, logic over panic, you become that unshakable force, exactly the kind the Stoics admired, exactly the kind this world rarely sees. Once you've learned to master your emotions, the next step is to master your value, not through praise, but through principle. The weak self craves attention. It wants to be seen, applauded, liked. But the strong self, it doesn't seek recognition, it seeks competence. It doesn't hunger for compliments, it hungers for mastery. Where the weak man bends his behavior to fit in, the strong man stands, rooted in principle, unmoved by opinion. A man who respects himself knows that chasing validation is like trying to fill a bucket with no bottom. It's never enough. There's always one more person to impress, one more audience to please, one more opinion to win over. But approval from others, it's a moving target, and it will enslave you unless you choose to step off that path. The strong man realizes that his purpose is not to be accepted by everyone, but to remain true to himself. He doesn't wait for permission to live the way he believes is right. He doesn't dilute his values to win favor. He builds himself into a man who commands respect not through words, but through presence, through precision, through unwavering discipline. Build yourself into someone whose self-respect is carved so deep into your being that external validation becomes meaningless. When you reach this state, you're free, completely free from the prison of judgment. You stop proving, you start living, not to impress others, but to impress upon yourself that you are exactly who you claim to be. The strong man's worth is self-generated. He does not rely on praise to feel confident because he proves his value to himself daily. Through work, through consistency, through the discipline to follow through, especially when no one's watching. Respect isn't given to the man who begs for it. It's earned by the man who embodies it. He doesn't talk about his strength, he shows it. He doesn't argue for his worth, he lives it. True self-respect is born in silence, in early mornings, when it's easier to sleep, in tough choices when it's easier to quit, in discipline when no one else is keeping score. So build yourself into someone who never needs to be told he's enough because he knows it. Strip away distractions that rot your mind. Mindless scrolling, empty praise, junk food for both body and thought. Instead, create habits that nurture your inner strength. Read philosophy, train your body, feed yourself with clean fuel and sharper thoughts. Do deep work that makes you useful, not just visible. When you do this, when you live by a higher standard than anyone expects of you, something powerful happens. People respect you, not because you seek it, but because you are it. Once you've built unshakable self-respect, the next test is this. Can you endure? Can you persist through hardship, discomfort, and chaos without breaking? The strong man endures. He understands that pain is not a punishment, it is a companion on the road to greatness. He doesn't wish for the road to be smooth. He welcomes the struggle because he knows every meaningful victory is earned through adversity, perseverance, and relentless effort. He doesn't run when life gets hard. He doesn't shrink at the first sign of pressure. He stands tall. He meets it head-on, because in the fire of suffering, his character is forged. The Stoics knew this well. They saw endurance not as optional, but essential. Epictetus said, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace. But make no mistake, this isn't about passive acceptance. It's about strength. It's about embracing hardship as a chance to grow tougher, wiser, better. Endurance is what separates the fragile from the formidable. A man who refuses to give up even when the world is pushing him down builds a mind of steel. He does not fold. He does not flinch. He thrives under pressure. Every obstacle becomes his teacher. Every setback, a chance to rise again stronger, sharper, more focused. Because endurance isn't just about surviving. It's about evolving. The one who endures doesn't simply hang on, he adapts, learns, and transforms. While others complain, he acts. While others avoid pain, he leans into it. While others seek comfort, he walks the hard path willingly. Because he knows, on that path, he is becoming someone who cannot be broken. And this is the truth of it. A man who builds endurance through daily struggle, through unrelenting discipline, and through quiet patience becomes unstoppable. His body may ache, his heart may grow weary, but his spirit unshaken. He walks a long road, but he never questions whether he'll reach the end, because he knows deep in his bones he will. So seek challenges. Push your physical and mental limits. Don't run from discomfort, chase it. Learn something new that intimidates you. Try something hard that humbles you. The weak self avoids pressure. The strong self craves it. Because it knows that's where the real growth lives. That's where mastery begins. Make discomfort your training ground. Each day, do something that stretches you, tests you, sharpens you. The more resistance you face, the stronger your edge becomes. Stay calm in chaos. Observe, adapt, persist. Because in those moments when others panic, you will remain grounded. This is the art of endurance. To hold the line when others crumble. To breathe steadily when the world spins out of control. To welcome discomfort, knowing it is not there to destroy you but to reveal who you truly are. Endurance trains the body, but solitude forges the mind. When you've built the discipline to stay composed under pressure, the next challenge is to face something even more difficult: silence. The power of solitude. Men fear being alone. They cling to constant noise and shallow stimulation, scrolling endlessly, chatting mindlessly, chasing distractions like a drowning man reaching for driftwood. Why? Because silence exposes them, stillness reveals their insecurities. And solitude forces them to confront the uncomfortable truth of who they really are. They avoid introspection at all costs, hiding behind social validation, entertainment, and meaningless busyness. But in doing so, they run from the very process that creates true growth. The strong man chooses a different path. He embraces solitude not as an escape, but as a training ground. He seeks out quiet moments not to numb his thoughts, but to meet them head-on. He doesn't fear being alone with his mind, he welcomes it, because he knows, in that stillness, there is clarity. In that silence, there is truth. Seneca wrote, "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and spend some time in his own company." The ability to be alone without feeling lonely. That is the mark of an ordered mind and a strong soul. In solitude, the strong man dissects his flaws, confronts his fears, and realigns his purpose. Without noise to distract him, he sees who he truly is. No illusions, no masks. And without that self-knowledge, no man can master his mind. To master solitude is to master the self. It's in the quiet moments that the strong man gains perspective. He plans with precision, corrects his course, and anchors himself in discipline. Solitude is not a prison. It is a proving ground. It is where a man learns to stand unshaken without needing applause, reassurance, or distraction. A man who cannot be alone is a man who has not yet built a self-worth being alone with. But the man who can sit quietly, content with his own thoughts, possesses something rare and unshakable. He knows who he is. He knows what he stands for. He knows where he's going. He doesn't need noise to feel alive. His power does not rise and fall with public opinion. His worth isn't tied to approval. He is a fortress unto himself, rooted, stable, resolute. This man walks with purpose, unmoved by trends or temptations. While others chase the crowd, he returns to the quiet. And in that quiet, he becomes dangerous not to others, but to the weakness within. He doesn't need anything from the world, but he has something to offer it: strength, clarity, discipline. The man who rules his solitude rules his life. True solitude creates strength, and from that strength, a man gives everything to the world from a place of inner abundance. A weak man constantly seeks approval. He searches for likes, for applause, for someone else to tell him he's enough. But a strong man, he builds himself into someone who needs none of that. He becomes his own source of validation and moved, self-contained, and whole. Solitude is where a man builds his kingdom. It is where he strategizes, reflects, and hardens himself against the seductions of weakness. It is where he draws a map of who he must become. In silence, he listens, truly listens to the quiet voice beneath the noise. There, he begins to separate fleeting emotion from enduring principle, distraction from direction, noise from truth. If a man cannot sit with himself, how can he lead himself? And if he cannot lead himself, how can he lead anyone or anything? A man who cannot be alone does not know himself, and a man who does not know himself is already lost. But if you wish to be unbreakable, learn to be alone. If you wish to be strong, seek out silence. If you wish to command your own life, embrace solitude not as isolation, but as the sacred forge where self-mastery is born. Greatness is not forged in the noise of the crowd. It is sculpted quietly, deliberately in the calm and private war of a man against his weaker self. It's built in early mornings, away from eyes, in long walks without music, in the journal entries, the meditations, the questions you finally dare to ask yourself. So make solitude a daily ritual. Carve out moments of quiet, no distractions, no outside input, just you. Learn to enjoy your own company. Learn to listen to the thoughts you've been running from. Reflect on your mission, your values, your purpose. Be willing to sit in the discomfort of stillness long enough to find clarity on the other side. Because when you can stand alone, you can stand anywhere. Once you learn to sit with yourself in silence, you begin to realize where the real battle lies: within your own mind. A disciplined mind is not just a virtue, it's a weapon. And a powerful mind, once trained, becomes an unbreakable force capable of overcoming any external storm. The weak man allows his mind to drift aimlessly, tossed around by every passing emotion, every anxiety, every impulse. He reacts to life instead of shaping it. One moment he's motivated, the next he's distracted. One day he's focused, the next he's consumed by doubt or boredom. There's no anchor, no control, just noise. But the strong man, he directs his mind with precision. He sharpens it like a blade and uses it with purpose. He knows that every great achievement begins first in the mind, long before it's ever visible in the outside world. If your mind is undisciplined, your dreams remain fantasies. If your mind is mastered, your thoughts become plans and your plans become reality. Mental discipline is not optional. It is non-negotiable for any man who dares to rise above mediocrity. Without it, you're not in charge, you're a puppet, controlled by external influences, led by urges, emotions, and distractions. But with it, you shift into full command of your destiny. You stop reacting to life and begin shaping life on your own terms. The mind is either your greatest ally or your deadliest enemy. If left untrained, it will sabotage you, filling your head with fear, doubt, excuses, regret. It will whisper lies. You're not good enough. You can't do it. Maybe later. But if you train it, if you sharpen it daily, it becomes your greatest tool. A focused mind cuts through any resistance. A calm mind stands tall through chaos. A disciplined mind moves forward while others freeze. Mastering the mind means understanding a key truth. Thoughts alone do not define you, your actions do. Weak men follow their thoughts blindly, giving into emotion, running from discomfort. They search endlessly for ease and reassurance. But the strong man does the opposite. He welcomes the mental grind. He trains his mind like a muscle. Every day, he works it, eliminating distractions, rejecting negative thinking, and replacing it with deliberate focus. He is intentional, present, relentless. He understands that every moment of discipline is a vote for the man he wants to become. The path to greatness is not just about strength or success. It is about conquering the internal battlefield, the quiet, invisible war happening inside your own head. And make no mistake, it is a daily war. Every single day, you will face temptation. You will be tempted to quit, to delay, to choose comfort over purpose. You will hear the whispers of weakness. But every day, you also have a choice to choose discipline over indulgence, focus over distraction, action over hesitation. The man who wins that inner war wins in every aspect of life, because he no longer lives as a slave to his thoughts. He has become their master. So strengthen your mind. Train it daily through mindfulness. Observe your thoughts without becoming them. Replace the lies of weakness with the truth of discipline and resilience. Say to yourself, I am not my thoughts. I am what I choose to do. Because once you command your mind, no external force will be able to shake you. Once the mind is mastered, the next evolution begins, developing the unbreakable resolve of a warrior. The warrior sees pain not as punishment, but as preparation. He understands that adversity is not his enemy, it is his sharpening stone. Where others see struggle and retreat, he sees a proving ground. He knows that comfort is the enemy of growth, and so, rather than running from discomfort, he deliberately steps into it, not recklessly, but relentlessly. He puts himself in situations that test his body, his will, and his endurance, because he knows the easy path breeds weakness. And he is not here to be weak. He is here to forge strength, to temper his spirit in the crucible of challenge. To think like a warrior is to eliminate the option of retreat. Failure is not a signal to give up, it is feedback. The weak man crumbles at setbacks. He lets one loss define him, tells himself, maybe I was never meant for this. But the warrior sees each failure as a blueprint. Each mistake reveals where to adjust, what to reinforce, how to strike better next time. He does not fear failure because he has already won the battle in his mind. His inner voice no longer doubts, no longer begs for ease. His will is steel. His discipline is law. His resolve is absolute. He understands that the true enemy is not outside. It's not competition, not circumstances, not critics. It's the whisper of hesitation, the tug of comfort, the urge to stop when it gets hard. And that enemy, he's already defeated it day by day, choice by choice. The warrior knows that victory is not granted. It is earned through blood, sweat, sacrifice, and a refusal to yield. He does not wait for perfect timing. He creates it. He doesn't sit around hoping for a miracle. He forces success into existence through action, effort, and repetition. He doesn't pray for the road to be smooth. He prays to be stronger than whatever lies ahead. He seeks no shortcuts. He trusts no luck. He relies only on his discipline, his endurance, and his unyielding will. Because the warrior's mindset isn't just about winning a single battle. It's about becoming someone who cannot be broken. He understands that true power lies in the commitment to rise every time he falls. That strength isn't a gift you're born with, it's a choice you make, and a discipline you build. Every hardship, every setback, every bruise is one more layer of armor. One more lesson. One more inch closer to total self-mastery. A warrior does not flinch in the face of adversity. He meets it head-on. When others back down, he steps forward. When others complain, he adapts. When others stop, he begins. He thrives under pressure not by accident, but by training. He has conditioned himself to see pain as a teacher, discomfort as an ally, and discipline as his shield. The warrior is the one who keeps going long after the world expects him to quit. The one who stands tall while the storm rages. The one who bends but does not break. Because his greatest weapon isn't brute strength, flashy skill, or clever tactics. It is this, his refusal to be broken. His certainty that no matter what life throws his way, he will endure. He will adapt, he will rise, and in the end, he will conquer. After adopting the warrior's mindset, one final truth remains your path. Your discipline, your legacy is what you leave behind. The true warrior never asks for an easy road. He does not wish for comfort or convenience. Instead, he demands the strength to walk the hardest path and to emerge from it not just alive, but victorious. He trains his body as he trains his mind, knowing that physical strength supports mental resilience. Every obstacle, it's not a setback, it's training. He welcomes the weight of struggle because it builds muscle not just in the body, but in the soul. And when it comes to legacy, he understands something the weak never will. A man's legacy is not crafted in moments of ease. It is etched into time through the storms he endures, the values he refuses to compromise, and the lives he silently impacts by simply living with integrity. Weak men leave behind regret, wasted years, excuses. But the strong, they leave behind an example, a blueprint for others to follow. They live not to be remembered for fame, wealth, or applause, but for their discipline, resilience, and unwavering character. They do not waste time chasing validation. They build mastery. They do not run from hardship. They transform through it. Seneca once said, "Life is long if you know how to use it. But most waste theirs in distraction, indulgence, and hesitation, confusing idleness for peace, comfort for fulfillment." The man of strength lives differently. He understands that time is not something to spend, it's something to invest. Every decision he makes, every moment of self-discipline, every challenge he endures, it all adds up, not to a perfect life but to a meaningful one. He doesn't fear death. He fears wasting his life. And when the end does come, he meets it not with regret, but with a quiet, unwavering pride, not wondering what if, but declaring I did. His name may not be written in history books, but his influence is etched into the people he touched, the example he left, and the legacy he built brick by brick. Because greatness isn't granted, it's earned through relentless effort, ruthless discipline, and unstoppable character. So don't just exist. Become someone worth remembering. Lead by example. Be a beacon of strength for those around you. Refuse to waste a single day. You are not here to be ruled by weakness. You are here to conquer it. You are here to kill the weaker version of yourself and forge the strongest version of the man. You were meant to be. So don't wait. Don't hesitate. Take action. Live with discipline and build a legacy that will never die. If this message moved something inside you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. The next chapter is coming soon. Stay strong, stay focused, stay forged. Welcome to the Stoic Capsule.